Welcome back, truth seekers. Getting drugged back into the flat earth conversation by the many flat earthers asking questions. And I noticed in the time I was sleeping, about 50 different people asked, if the earth is a sphere, how come NASA can't provide a true image of the earth that's not composites or CGI? And before answering that question, I just want you to think about the logic you're using to prove in your mind that the earth is flat. How come NASA can't provide an image of the flat earth? Why aren't you guys asking that question? Understand this. Thousands of years before NASA existed, mathematicians had figured out that the world was spherical through observation, through calculation, through shadows. Humanity's been around for a long time. And once upon a time, people didn't have televisions and computers and all these things to distract them. One of the greatest fascinations of the world was the sky above us. The proof that the earth is not flat is the stars. In the northern hemisphere, people look out at a different set of stars than they do in the southern hemisphere. And I don't know why all of you in the flat earth community continue to ignore this. How can you ignore this? In the northern hemisphere, people see different stars than the southern hemisphere. How could you possibly look at a different set of stars on a flat earth? Can any of you answer that question? Nobody answers that. You guys continue to ignore the points that I make and other people make, and you guys ask questions such as, how come the United Nations uses a flat earth map? How come NASA can't prove a spherical earth with a real image? Look, I've been exposing NASA and their fraud since well before the flat earth theory came around. I'm not convinced that NASA can escape the atmosphere of Earth. That said, that doesn't make the Earth flat. If you know that the Earth is spherical, which is provable through the stars, through things such as the observation of curvature, that's why when you go further away, from a city skyline, a mountain, the base of it disappears. The further away you go, the less of the base you can see, until eventually you can't see the skyline or mountain at all. That is proof of curvature. To ignore these real world facts is truly insanity. Everyone in the flat earth community is trying to convince themselves the earth is flat by using obscure arguments. The flat earth map of the United Nations is really proof to you guys that the earth is flat. How about another logical explanation for why they might have used that map? It's the United Nations. They're trying to show all of the continents of the world. How can you do that on a sphere? You can't. You have to create a two-dimensional object, which is what their logo is. To say that that's your proof that the earth is flat in light of the reality of seeing opposite stars from opposite hemispheres is completely insane. And, you look at these flat earth videos where they say, how come from 50 miles away I can see this thing? And then they show you a picture of somebody that's up above in the sky, like a shot from a helicopter. Well, the reason you can see it from that distance is because of the angle. They're up in the sky, which allows them to see. If they're down on the earth, they wouldn't be able to see. So it's like these flat earth arguments, they're all dishonest. They're cheating everyone that's being duped by them. The fact of the matter is, you take these arguments of these people taking these shots from up in the sky and you bring that down to earth, you can't see what they're saying you can see. I mean, you shouldn't have to fly up in the sky to make your flat earth argument. It's just a dishonest argument. And again, if the Earth's flat and it's encompassed by an ice wall, The flat earthers are saying the earth looks something like this. And they're saying there's a giant ice wall that keeps in all the water. If that's so, then shouldn't we be able to verify this giant ice wall surrounding Earth? And then flat earthers make excuse. They say, well, the military's guarding it and they're keeping people from going there. Why are you guys so willing to believe these arguments that are put out by liars such as Jeranism and Mark Sargent and the rest of them? These people just make excuses to protect the lie. And you don't need any excuses or illogical arguments to prove that the earth is spherical. Again, all you need are the facts. Not understanding the reason the North Star is in the relatively same place in the sky is just not understanding what's above. And I explained that last night, why the North Star is the way it is. It's at the axis point of the wheel of stars. It's in the middle. So, again, imagine a merry-go-round. If you put a child on the outside of a merry-go-round and you spin it and you look from above, you can see that child spinning around in a circle. But you put the child right in the middle and you spin it, you don't really see that child moving at all because they're right in the middle. That's the way the North Star is. And the North Star is not proof that the Earth's flat. The North Star proves that the flat Earth's impossible because you cannot see the North Star from the southern hemisphere because of its position. If the North Star was over the center axis point of the flat Earth, you would be able to see it from anywhere on the Earth. But you can't. You cannot see this. And if you do a web search, you find flat earthers everywhere posting on forums. Can somebody show me proof of how you can see the North Star from the southern hemisphere? You see, you guys are trying to look for evidence of things that aren't out there. You guys are trying to look for ways to prove your point. You want to prove that the earth is flat. And also, in the time I was sleeping, there's a million people posting Bible verses. Okay? Psalm 93 that says the earth is stationary, the earth is immovable. Again, the Bible doesn't prove anything. And the Bible verses are open to interpretation. Again, I made the point about how Jesus said he came to bring the sword. And a lot of Christians can turn, and that the translation is, it's really he meant to bring the word. But again, all throughout the Bible, the word word is used. So why is it sword there? The thing with Bible verses is you can interpret them a million different ways. Doesn't prove that the earth's flat. Doesn't prove that the earth's an immovable object. And again, I've said it. I've been saying it since 2015. This isn't something that I want to spend a lot of time arguing on, but I just feel bad for all of you who claim the earth is flat and you use these bogus arguments. And over time, your guys' arguments become more and more insane. There's a woman posting all over my blog that they replaced the sun, and we now don't even have the real sun. It's an artificial sun. I mean, she's claiming the earth is flat and the sun isn't the same sun it used to be. How could you ever prove something like this? What I've noticed is the sun is what we're all dependent on for life, from plants to animals to everything that's living on this planet. If they replaced the sun with something artificial, don't you think we'd see a massive change in life? And who are these people that replace the sun? The flat earth just seems to be some really bad Kool-Aid that takes people into crazy land. And it makes them forget logic and reason and then go to, a place you don't want to be. You don't want to be ignoring the fact that you cannot see the same stars from opposite hemispheres and then ignore that and at the same time make the argument that the earth's flat because the United Nations logo is flat. And, some guy was leaving all these comments yesterday about how it's atmospheric refraction that makes objects in the distance appear to go lower in the skyline. And I addressed that, and I showed how that is a load of malarkey. Atmospheric refraction can cause an object to appear higher or lower in the skyline, and it's not something that always is existing. It's something that can happen depending on conditions and weather. The fact of the matter is, no matter where you are on this earth, the further you go from a skyline, a mountain, a large object, the further you go away, and it doesn't matter where you are on this earth, what the temperature is outside, the base of that object will begin to disappear the further you go away because of the curvature of the earth. And that's something that's observable, that's something that's provable, it's something that's undeniable. Yet all of you continue to ignore these things. I mean, how do you explain seasons on a flat earth? How do you explain tide? And look, we're deep in the game. I mean, people figured out tide schedules a long time ago. You go to the beach, there's a perfect tide schedule up that's right on the money. And how are these things all calculated? By the people who understand the movements of the things that are orbiting with us, including the moon. You know? Flat earthers, please stop making yourselves look like fools. And look at all the trolls saying that I'm doing this to make money. I'm not making any money off this. I'm wasting my own time, essentially. I'm wasting my time to help you. Okay? All of you posting, where is the picture of NASA's spherical Earth? I want you to ask yourself, where's NASA's picture of the flat Earth? And why do you keep going to NASA? NASA's been in existence since '58. Okay? Spherical Earth has been known going back thousands of years to Egypt. NASA is a bunch of liars. You know? They want to prove that they've been to space, so they show a model of the spherical Earth. That doesn't mean they've really been to space. And that's not the argument you need to use to prove that the Earth's a sphere or not. The only arguments you need are the very simple ones to understand and prove. Again, the stars in opposite constellations, or opposite hemispheres, you see different constellations, and real-world observation of the curvature of the Earth. That's the only reason you can't see the base of a structure from 30 miles away. Not atmospheric refraction. That's something put out by the shills, the disinformation agents. All right, Truth Seeker. Until next time.